Hey friends, it's Deanna here, and today we are sewing up the beach cover up, and I am so excited because summertime is here, and I've already made a waterfall bathing suit. I've made a couple. I've made the Oasis bathing suit. I've made bathing suits for my son. I've made bathing suits for my nieces. I've made all kinds of bathing suits, but today I'm doing my beach cover up so I can be officially ready for summertime. For the beach. Yay! But before I get started, let me remind you about our fun fan giveaway. And every month we do a drawing and we pick one of our new subscribers to win on the $50 Ellie and Mag gift certificate. So if you would, go ahead and subscribe and comment below to be entered for our giveaway. And then we'll be announcing that every month. So you're entered to win, and we pick a new winner every month. So keep entering. Comment below, and that will enter you. So make sure you're subscribed too. But anyways, without further ado, let's get ready into our sew along. So we have everything already cut out. I already have my pieces cut out, and we're gonna get started. So I grab my front and my back, and the shoulder seams. Here are my shoulder seams. I'm going to place them together, the front and the back shoulder seams together, right sides together, like so, and pin. And it was difficult for me to find what fabric I wanted to use for this sew along, for this tutorial, because there are so many choices. And being summertime, really you could go with anything. And so, but I just went with something plain right now because I figured this black and white match everything. And I kind of, I know I told you I already made a ton of bathing suits, but I kind of wanted to make a black one too. So this would be so awesome for just a black plain suit. Anyway, okay, so shoulder seams right here. I'm gonna go ahead and sew those together. You can do this is a woven material, which means non-stretch. So you could use just a sew machine with a straight stitch, but if you're using a straight stitch on your sew machine, sorry, I'm gonna grab my scissors right here. If you're using a straight stitch on your sew machine, you might want to reinforce it with a zigzag stitch. So what I would do is I'd probably do a zigzag stitch and then I do a stretch stitch right next to it. Because the wovens, the non-stretch fabrics, they do seem to fray. So you don't want them fraying on you. Alright, I thought I heard someone come in. You don't want them fraying on you. I get easily distracted. I don't know if you've watched any other of my sewing tutorials, but every once in a while something happens right outside my window and I'm like, okay. There's no construction going on today, so hopefully it won't be too bad today. But a lot of times there'll be construction going on right outside my window and I just can't concentrate. Okay, shoulders are sewn together. And now we're gonna grab our neck binding, our neck, and we're going to attach our interfacing. So you cut out the front and the back. Here's my one, here's my other one. And I'm gonna go ahead and attach that interfacing to it to give it a little bit of a stiffness. I'm using my iron to iron it on. And I think I cut it too long. That's okay. Sometimes I do that. Oh no, I cut it too long on one side, too short on the other one. Actually, let's go this way, because this thing stretches. Come on. I am a mess sometimes. Okay, so if this happens to you, what I just did, and and you have like a little bit of space left over on the sides, you can just either clip it off, or when you sew it together, it will be just fine. But yeah, I have a little bit left over at the ends. I'm just gonna cut that off. I'll pick that up later. All right, so now that these are sewn together, we're gonna go ahead and put them right sides together on front of each other, and we're going to attach them at the short ends. Short ends. Attach. Okay, I'm sorry, I already started singing to you guys. That's okay. I think you guys enjoy my singing, don't you? Just kidding. I don't sing very much. I'm not a singer. I am a sewer. Actually, if I had to be something, I'd probably be a teacher. I am a teacher. Anyway, okay. So I have my neck facing all together. Okay, that's ready to go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the outside of my neck facing, and I'm going to finish all of the outside with a serger. So see how sometimes this fabric will fray? So I'm going to finish it all up with a serger. You can do it with a zigzag stitch as well, but I'm going to do it with my serger. So I'm going to go all the way around the outside of this binding with my serger. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, so now that that is done, as you can see, has been serged on the outside, I'm going to grab my little back strap piece, put it right sides together, and I'm going to pin, and then I'm going to go ahead and sew it together right there. Alright, then I'm going to go ahead and grab my piece and turn it right side out. And then I'm going to steam it flat. Come on. Now, on the back side of my cover up, I'm going to measure from my shoulders. I'm going to measure down 3 inches. And I have a little ruler right here. So 3 inches from the top. And I'm going to mark that. If I had something to mark it with, I'm just going to do it with a pen. I can see right here where it's at. I'm going to mark it just in case my strap moves. Now I know where it's supposed to go. We're doing 3 inches. Three inches from the seam, the shoulder seam. And now we're going to grab our strap. I'm going to put it right sides together onto that back. If you can see, I'm putting the right side at the edge of that back. So right side to right side, right at the edge where I marked. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. So if I'm going to put the right side, I have to turn it right sides together. So it's kind of like, it's like, and this side right here being the right side is attached to the thing. I'm going to show it to you. See right there? It's just turned, attached to the right side of the fabric. So I have it attached on both sides. So now we're gonna put that facing, and that is gonna be, the strap is gonna be sandwiched in between. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go ahead and, you can baste it on, but I don't know if when you're sewing it on, you might want to move it, like to sew one side, you might wanna move it out of the way. So it's up to you if you want to try to baste it on, or just baste one side on, then sew it on, then do the other one. But either way, you can either baste it on or not. But after we do that, we're going to attach our interfacing. So you got to find which one is the front side. This is my front. And we're going to pin it right sides together. Ow. Just pin myself. I start at the neck and I make sure it goes all the way down because the front is shorter than the back. So you gotta make sure it goes all the way down in the front and then to the V. You might want to mark where your V is when you're sewing, you know when you have to pivot. So sometimes when you're sewing you don't pay attention, so I'm just gonna make a line right there so I can remember, and I'll put a pin right there. So that way when I'm sewing, I'll go down and then turn. If that makes any sense whatsoever. It makes sense to me because I want to go down to the V and then come back up. I don't want to just go and have it go around and look all flimsy. I want that to be sharp. So that's why I want to have a mark so I know, hey, the V is coming. Make sure you do it sharp. Right? We want a sharp V. We don't want a U, we want a V. Nothing wrong with you. That was dumb, huh? Anyway, all right. My hair is kind of getting on my face. This is my summer hair, don't care. All right, so now I'm gonna sandwich when I get to the back where that strap is. I'm gonna sandwich that strap between, I'm gonna move that pin down a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna sandwich that strap between the strap and the actual cover up. Okay, so you're gonna sandwich it between the two of them. So that's why you want to mark it in case it moves, then you know where it's supposed to be. Okay, so now I'm going to go all the way around pinning this. All right, now I'm done pinning everything. And remember, I sandwiched those two the two sides of the back strap onto in between the two. So now I'm going to start sewing, and I'm just going to sew it on my sewing machine. I'm just going to do a stretch stitch. We later will sew on the, we'll fold the seam allowance, so we'll be able to sew that on. But I want to go ahead and do that. And as I told you earlier, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the shoulder and go down. And I told you when you get to your V, make sure you marked it so that way you know when you're turning. So I'm going to go down, stitch, stitch, stitch. I'm going to get to the stitch, turn, and then go back up. And I'm just doing that all the way around, just at the edge. We're sewing that right there at the edge. And I'm just doing a straight stitch with my sewing machine. That way it's easier to keep track than try to do it with your serger. You can do it with your serger if you'd like, but I feel that sometimes when you get to the V, it's kind of hard to keep control of your serger when you're doing that. But if you are a pro and you can do it, go on. I'm gonna go ahead and sew that, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, so now as you can see, has been sewn on. And I was very careful when I was going through those V's to make sure I went down and stopped and went back up. I'll show you here. You see that? Went down, stopped right there, went back up. I hope you can see it. Now with shearing scissors, or if you don't have, you're going to do little clips up until the where the stitch is. Now don't go too far down that you end up cutting the thread. You're just doing little snips so you can cut up the bulk. If you have shearing scissors, you can use shearing scissors. If you don't, then you can just do little snips all the way along. Okay, so I've already done some, and I'm doing some on the V's. You really got to make sure you do it right on the V so you don't cut the V. Okay, so after you do all that, you went all the way around with shearing scissors or with the clipping it, we're gonna go ahead and steam the seam allowance that we just had from when we sewed that on. We're gonna steam it towards the interfacing. So here's my interfacing on this side. I'm pushing it this way because we're gonna sew it to the interfacing. That way it lays flat. I'm sewing it this way. You can pin it if you want. And then we're gonna sew it on. I'm going all the way around opening that up and steaming it this way towards the interfacing. You gotta make sure when you're using iron too that this fabric, the fabric for this beach cover up, if you're using thin fabric, make sure you don't end up burning it. So make sure your heat settings are correct on your iron so you don't end up burning it, because that would be really sad. Okay, so I'm steaming all those down, and then I'm gonna go with an 1/8 inch allowance and just sew that down. Okay. I'm gonna steam it all the way around, and then I'm gonna go ahead, go back and sew it all the way around onto that interfacing. That way you can tack it down. I'm gonna go ahead and do that and come back, and we are almost done with our beach cover. How easy has this been? How easy has this been? I'm telling you, sometimes my accent just comes out at the randomest times. And you know, my friend, she was watching one of my videos, and she told me she's watched this video a bunch of times, and then she's like, oh, the way that you say, I don't remember what it even was. She's like, oh, it's so cute. And I'm like, how come you've never corrected me? Oh, it was armsicle. I kept saying armsicle. I'm like, how come you've never corrected me? She's like, oh, I just thought it was cute. I'm like, next time, please tell me if I'm saying something incorrectly. Now I know it's arm side, but I don't know why. Sometimes I just... Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and sew that down 1/8 of an inch. If I say something wrong, please correct me. I like correction. I don't get offended by correction, just so you know. So please correct me if there's something that you say, oh, you did not say that right. I like to learn. So I'm going to go ahead and sew that down, and then we'll come back and finish up. All right, so now all that is sewn. As you can see, it's sewn in right there at the edge. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn it all in, and I'm going to steam it down. If you take your time, that view will look real nice right there at the front. Well, there. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is at the shoulders, I'm gonna fold that interfacing down, and I'm gonna sew it, tack it down. So I'm just doing a straight stitch, and I'm gonna do forward, and then I'm gonna go over it again, just to tack it down so it doesn't flip up open. Okay, so that is that. And now we're going to go ahead and hem. So now we're just gonna go ahead and hem or cover up all the way around. Now, to do that, there's a couple of ways you can do it. Sometimes what I like to do is I'll go in, since this is woven, you have to have a double fold, either a 1/4 of an inch and then 1/4 of an inch fold, because it will fray. But sometimes what I like to do is I'll go over it, the whole thing with the serging, and then I fold it at the serging stitch, and then I sew it there. So that way it's my instead of doing fold, I'll do serger and then fold. So it's up to you. If you don't like the look of that, then you don't have to do that. What you'll do is, you gotta do it all the way around the cover up. You'll fold 1/4 of an inch down, and then you'll go again another 1/4 of an inch down on top of that. So that's 1/2 inch allowance. Okay, and you go all the way around, just like that, and you'll sew it all the way around with a stretch stitch, all the way around the whole sides and everything. And if you're not doing a trim, that's all you're going to be doing, and then we're gonna go ahead and do the sides. So let me go ahead and sew and hem it. I'm gonna hem it first, and then we'll go ahead and sew up the sides, okay? Let me go ahead and hem it. You don't want to sit there and watch me hemming the whole thing. So I'm going to go ahead and hem it, and we'll come back. All right, well, I'm not all completely done hemming, but I wanted to show you what I was talking about when I said that I do little serger first and then hem. So this is my raw edge, and I went ahead and serged my raw edge. Do you see my serger right there? So then after I serge that raw edge, I fold it in, and I go ahead and sew it right on top. Instead of doing a quarter and a quarter, I do the serge and then I fold it again. Now, if you want to, it's more of a step. You can do that and then fold it again, because that gives you like the stability. Sometimes when you're doing a quarter and your fabric doesn't want to stay and it gets a wobbly, then you have like a wobbly finish on your cover up. You don't want to do that. But see, I just folded it and then I stitched it on. You can see my stitches right there, and that's all I'm doing. But if you want to, just for extra reinforcement, you can fold down and then fold down again, and then it will disappear, that serger side. But it gives you more stability. So I'm going to go ahead and sew it again. I just do it right at the edge. So hold it down. Pretty easy, quick and simple. It gives it that little extra stay. Some people use that wash away tape. If you want to do that, you can do that. But I just found that this is just simple, easy, and quick. Quicker than try to fight with the fabric to try to get it to do what you want it to do. And that is it. My hem is done. Now I am going to use, I'm just steaming that bottom. I am going to use like a trim on it, just because I think it looks really cute with a little bit of a trim. So now that my hem is done, at the bottom, I'm grabbing my trim. Cut off that serger tail because I already sewed it on. No need for my iron anymore, so I'm going to put it away from me so I don't burn myself. Here's my trim. I just got this. And I hope it's enough because I didn't really measure. Should be enough. But how cute is that? So now you can either put it on in the back, on the wrong side of the fabric, so just the bottom is poking out, or you can put it on the right side of the fabric. I like the look of this trim, so I am actually going to put it on the right side of the fabric. I just like it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add it to the bottom of my fabric. I'm gonna have to, right here at the end, I'm gonna fold this over in to have like, just so it'll attach to that. So it has like around the edge, so it doesn't fray, come apart. I'll show you, I just went around the edge and in. I'm gonna have to change my thread because I have white on there right now, and I think I just want to do it with black so you can't see the thread. But I'm just attaching it to the edge of my cover up, and it gives it like the cutest look. You know, it gives it a little bit of oomph, a little bit of extra pizzazz. And there are all kinds of trim, all kinds of colors. You can just go crazy with whatever you want to do. Like I said, I just wanted a simple one this time around, but I mean, even if I wanted to, I could have done a different color altogether at the bottom and just given it a little bit of a pop, but I am a very simple gal. And then at the corner, again, I'm doing the same thing I did at the beginning. I'm just gonna fold it down so it can attach. And then I'm just sewing it on, just a straight stitch, kind of like I did the hem. Or you can do a zigzag stitch, really doesn't matter. I will do it the same color. Look how cute that's gonna look. Ooh, yeah. Now for the sides. And we'll be all done. What we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the two sides, and here it is from the shoulder. Oop, that's not the back. Here's the back. From the shoulder, I'm just gonna put them wrong sides together. Okay, so here they are, wrong sides together. And I'm gonna grab my pattern piece, if I can reach it. And I'm gonna put it right on top. Come on. I'm gonna put it right on top. And here is the dot. So from bottom of bodice up to this dot on both sides. I'm gonna put it right on top, find the dot, here's the dot. I'm gonna put my marker right here, and then I'm gonna go all the way down. So all the way down from the side to that dot. Here's the other dot. Mark the other dot. And you're gonna do that for both sides. We're gonna go all the way down. Now, if you don't want to close both of your sides, what you can do is you can sew down from the underarm dot only 4 to 6 inches if you want to have that rest of it open. Like, you know, some of you want the open look on the sides and the legs. You can do that. So you just do however much you want, even if you just want to do a tiny little bit, just to close right here and then the rest open. Up to you. This is the beauty of sewing your own garment. That you can do whatever you desire. You don't have to do it exactly like I'm telling you to do it. See, the pattern says from bottom up, and I'm not even doing it from the bottom up. I'm doing it from the top up. If you're having a struggle trying to figure out how to keep it straight, sometimes, I don't have it right now, I have a wash away marker or a piece of tape, and I'll put it right here. Okay, so this is how wide I want it. I'm gonna put it right here. So I'll put like my piece of tape right here or whatnot. I'll just put a pin right here to guide my fabric and tell me that's where my fabric needs to stay the whole time I'm sewing this. Right there, that little mark that I put up. Right now, I just, like I said, I just put up that pin right there. But whatever it is that you do, marker, whatever it is, and that will do the trick. And seriously, I could just leave it there and do the next one, my on there too, and that's it. I'm just gonna trim this. I'm gonna do my other side, and I am going to attach my trim at the bottom, and my beach cover up is complete. How cute is this thing? Take a picture of it. I know you can't really even tell right now because you're saying, I don't know, I don't see the shape of it. I'm gonna take a picture of it, wearing it, so you can see it. But I'm so excited. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if you have any questions of anything that I did, or any questions on how to do something. Please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. We have tons of other videos, sewing tutorials that will be really helpful for you to go ahead and check out. Share, like, comment, share with your friends, share. So that way they can all see all the fun that we're having over at Ellie and Mac. And if you're not part of our Facebook or our Instagram page, come join us so you can see everything that everyone's making. You can get inspired, and we love to see your looks as well. So go ahead and post them on there. Tag me. I want to see them. I want to see when you create this beach cover up and show it to me. So I hope you have a good rest of the day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.